Today we're here with Patrick Bowie. Patrick is the new city manager for the city of LaGrange, and he's going to give us some information about the offices. Patrick, thank you for being here today.
Glad to be here, Kendall.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about the responsibilities of city council and mayor?
Sure, be happy to. And you'll find two different models. You'll see full-time mayors and you'll see part-time mayors. A lot of the really small cities, you'll see a full-time mayor. My grandmother was actually a full-time mayor in South Carolina.
Oh, really?
Back in the 1960s, so she was a little bit of a trailblazer. And with a full-time mayor, they actually run the city. They're coming in every day. They're the chief executive officer of the city. And sometimes you see that in larger cities as well. City of Atlanta, I believe it's Andre Dickens now is the mayor, and he's a full-time mayor. LaGrange is a city manager, part-time mayor type of local government.
Okay.
So what the mayor's responsible for, he's still like a CEO, but he's more like the chief elected official, if you want to use the same acronym. And he's the key spokesman for the city. He advocates for policy for the city. He sets the agenda. So like right now, Quay Body is Mayor Pro Tem. So he comes by my office, we sit down, we go through the agenda, make sure that everything's on the agenda that he'd like to see, and covers all the city business. So that's kind of the main role of the mayor. And then he'll also conduct the meetings. Whenever we have a work session or we have a council meeting, the mayor is the ex officio leader of that meeting.
Okay.
So that's another important role for the mayor. Then if any resolutions or ordinances are passed, the mayor is the one that's going to sign those ordinances. He signs most contracts, although the city manager is authorized to sign contracts related to the budget, and they can authorize me to sign other documents by resolution during the meeting. And so that's what you see the mayor doing mostly. Mm-hmm. It is a part-time position. Most of them have other full-time jobs.
What kind of time commitment do you see would be typical?
That's a great question, because I said part-time, but
right.
elected officials, I mean, they really stay busy. They have people calling them, citizens calling them with problems, complaints, hopefully some compliments from time to time.
Right.
So they do spend an awful lot of time that they're really not compensated for. So it's a big commitment when you do take that office. I've never been an elected official, so I don't know the exact amount of time that they spend, but I'm sure it's numerous hours a week. And then if we're a city councilman, they're really the legislative body. So they're approving ordinances that actually make the municipal laws that we live by in the city of LaGrange. They set the rates for our utility systems. That's one of the big advantages we have as a local municipal utility, is we do have that local control through our mayor and council. So if they need to make a special rate or a special policy, they can do that right away. You don't have to go through a big, long bureaucratic process. It's a local control. Mm-hmm. So they are the key legislative branch of the city government. They set the departments. They define which departments the city will have or not have. They adopt the city budget every year that we live by for the fiscal year. For us, it's July 1st to June 30th. So we're just now starting to work on the next fiscal year budget. And that's pretty much the roles of the mayor and council. All these roles are actually defined in the charter. So if you go to the city's charter, which is online,
okay,
you'll actually see the mayor and council roles spelled out, the city manager roles spelled out, the different department managers roles spelled out. And those things that I just went through are actually in that charter.
Okay, great. And there's another responsibility, I think, is appointing who is the members of the different boards around the city. So what are some of the boards that the mayor appoints positions on?
That's correct. And that's things like the Housing Authority, LaGrange Development Authority, Downtown Development Authority. Sweetland has a separate Downtown Development Authority that has a separate board. So the mayor and council do appoint those boards for those other entities.
Okay. And then the planning and zoning
zoning
committee. And so those are very important.
Those are very important, yes.
Because a lot of times things come before the planning and zoning, and they can either turn it down or approve it to go towards city council to be approved.
Right. That's the way.
And so if the
there's a process for the way that things go before the planning and zoning. They make recommendations to deny or to approve, and then it'll come before the council with that. And the council, of course, obviously has the end decision to make.
Okay.
They have the final decision. But the planning and zoning they're usually made up of members of the community who have some knowledge and expertise in that area, and so their advice is very important to the council to take into consideration when they're looking at planning and zoning changes.
Okay, that's great to know. Well, we appreciate you being with us today,
Absolutely.
explaining a little bit about the offices that are currently open, and we look forward to finding out who you're going to be working with soon.
That's right. Thank you.